Some stories are not told to inspire. They're told to warn you and to wake you. This is the story of a man who went from injecting poison in back alleys to building $1 million empire. Not because he was lucky, not because he was born rich, but because he finally chose pain over comfort and purpose over pity. Rowan was 21 when his life ended. Not physically, he still walked, still breathed, but the light inside him, that once a rising star on his local football team, he had spade, drills, and a scholarship waiting, until one snap of a ligament tore all that away. First came the painkillers, then came heroin. At 23, he was sleeping behind dumpsters in Sydney's back streets, selling medals, stealing from his own home. And worst of all, forgetting who he even was. They say you only get so many chances. Rowan got 3. 2 overdoses he barely survived, but the third, he woke up in a hospital bed, tubes in his nose, woofed, cold, but alive. And sitting beside him was the only person who hadn't given up, his mother. No shouting, no anger, just tears. She whispered, "Come back home, Clive." That broke him more than the addiction ever could, because in that moment he realized he hadn't just failed himself. He'd broken the hearts of the only people who still believed in him. Rehab wasn't pretty. Detox wasn't a movie montage, it was hell. Shaking, screaming, crying. Days that felt like years, nights that felt like dying. He fell. He relapsed. He begged. But deep inside, something had changed. The pain no longer scared him. Because he finally realized the pain of staying the same was worse than the pain of changing. After rehab, Rowan had nothing. No friends, no money, no future. But what he did have was obsession. And this time, he aimed it at something different. Books, knowledge, copywriting, discipline. He watched YouTube videos on business 6 hours a day. He read every book he could steal from libraries. He practiced writing sales pages until his fingers cramped. No parties. No, because he had already wasted enough time dying. Oh, he was ready to build something that couldn't be taken away. His first paycheck was $35 for an email job. He framed it. Not because of the money, but because he proved he could earn with his mind. From there, it grew. $200 a week. Then $1,000 a week. And at 27 he hit $30,000 a month. Ghostwriting, building online funnels, selling value. And still, he lived small. Mattress on the floor. Instant coffee. Because he wasn't rich yet, he was rebuilding his soul. At 29, Rowan crossed his first million in revenue. But he didn't post it online. He didn't buy a car. He just called his mom. And cried. Because for the first time in a decade, he wasn't ashamed. He was a builder. A survivor. The same man who was once overdosing in a gutter was now employing people who were still trying to escape it.
Now Rohan speaks in rehab centers. He funds scholarships for addicts who want to learn digital skills. He hires ex-cons. He builds systems for people society forgot. Not for applause, not for fame, but because he knows the truth. The people with the darkest pasts often have the brightest futures, if they can survive themselves. You may be broke, addicted, alone, but if you're breathing, you're not done. Rohan wasn't special. He was just angry enough to change, angry at what he lost, angry at who he became, and that anger, that hunger, became his greatest weapon. So don't wait for permission. Build, rise, turn your rock bottom into your foundation.